Let's be brutally honest. When a woman starts ignoring you, it feels like your soul's being pulled out piece by piece. You replay every word, every text, every glance, trying to figure out where it all went wrong. One day, she's laughing at your jokes, touching your arm, saying she misses you. And the next, silence. The kind of silence that makes your chest ache and your mind spiral. But here's the truth most men never hear. Her silence isn't random, it's not confusion, it's control. When a woman ignores you, she's not just disappearing, she's watching. Watching how you'll react, what you'll do, and most importantly, what you'll become without her attention. Because deep down, she knows something powerful. Attention is currency. And when she takes it away, she instantly becomes the prize again. The moment you start chasing that silence, you've already lost the frame. You see, women don't test you when you're weak. They test you when they feel you're strong enough to lose focus. It's their subconscious way of asking, is he centered or is his validation dependent on me? Most men fail that test. They double text, they call, they ask what's wrong, they try to fix something that was never broken. But the reality is, she's not waiting for an explanation. She's waiting to see if your world collapses without her. And that's where everything changes. Because when you don't chase, when you don't react, you reverse the psychology instantly. She starts wondering, why isn't he folding? Why isn't he panicking like the others? And suddenly, you become the mystery. You become the emotional trigger. That's the point where her silence turns into curiosity. And curiosity into attraction. But let's go deeper. The real reason it hurts when she ignores you isn't because she's gone quiet. It's because her silence forces you to face your own emptiness. You've tied too much of your worth to how she sees you, and now that mirror is gone. That's why you feel lost, not because she vanished, but because she took your reflection with her. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Attraction doesn't die in silence. It shifts, and in that shift, she's looking for leadership. She wants to know if you're emotionally stable enough to hold your ground. If you're a man who stays rooted even when she withdraws her energy. That's what creates real polarity. Because a woman doesn't crave constant attention. She craves the reassurance that you don't need her attention to feel powerful. So when she ignores you, don't explode, don't explain, don't express desperation. Just pause. Let her silence echo, and in that space, rebuild your center. Work out, handle your business, reconnect with your friends, go cold, not to punish her, but to reestablish dominance over your own emotions. Because every minute you stay composed, she feels the shift. The energy changes. She can sense that she no longer has emotional control over you, and that's when the reversal begins. She'll start breadcrumbing, a story reply, a random emoji, a memory she just thought about. That's her way of knocking on the door again, testing if your energy is still available. But here's where most men mess up. They open that door too soon. They reward inconsistency with access. Don't. Make her earn her way back into your attention the same way you were earning hers. That's how the dynamic resets in your favor. Because in the end, it's not about revenge, it's about respect. The respect she can only feel for a man who doesn't lose himself trying to prove his worth to someone who walked away. Remember, indifference is the most powerful response you can ever give to disrespect. And when a woman realizes she can't shake you emotionally, that's when she feels something she hasn't felt in a long time. Fear. The fear of losing a man who doesn't need her approval to be powerful. Pause right here and ask yourself, when was the last time you stopped chasing silence and started owning your presence? When she ignores you, your instinct will scream at you to chase her, to fix it, to explain yourself. That's your ego begging for validation, and if you feed it, you destroy your power. So here's what you do instead. You go silent too, but with purpose. Your silence isn't a reaction, it's a message. You're showing her that you don't operate on her timeline. You move when you choose, not when her attention demands it. That's what separates strong men from emotional ones. Strong men don't chase closure, they become closure. They don't demand attention, they attract it by existing in a higher state of focus and discipline. And that's exactly what draws her back. Not your words, but your absence. Because silence from a man who was once available is deafening. It forces her to feel the void she created. Think about this. When you stop responding, she'll replay your last messages. She'll wonder if she pushed too far. Her pride will fight it, but curiosity always wins. She'll stalk your profile, check when you're online, even talk about you indirectly. Why? Because women are emotionally intuitive. They sense when energy shifts. And when your energy detaches, it triggers her need to reclaim emotional equilibrium. She'll try to pull you back into her orbit, but now the frame belongs to you. Your goal isn't to ignore her back out of bitterness. It's to become unavailable in spirit. That means stop centering your world around her. No checking her stories, no decoding her posts, no reacting to breadcrumbs. Let her live in that uncertainty. While she's wondering what you're thinking, you're out building your empire. Go to the gym, upgrade your appearance, chase your purpose, do the things that make you feel alive again, because that's the energy that magnetizes women more than any text ever could. Here's the psychological twist. When she sees you glowing without her, her subconscious goes into panic mode. It whispers, "He's moving on." That's when her emotions flip. What once was her test becomes her regret. You've now reversed the dynamic. She's thinking about you while you're focused on yourself. That's not manipulation, that's equilibrium. You're reclaiming the emotional balance that should have never been lost. But you must hold your ground. She'll come back with subtle attempts, small talk, nostalgia, fake concern. Don't rush to feed her ego by responding too warmly. Give her neutral, calm energy. Be polite, not eager. Let her feel that you're no longer emotionally dependent. When you do that, she'll instinctively start to chase your attention again, because the one thing women crave more than love is emotional certainty. They want to feel they can trust a man's energy, that no matter what happens, he won't break. That's masculine containment. It's not coldness, it's emotional leadership. You show her through your calmness that you're the anchor in the storm, and that's what makes her respect you again. Because in her mind, if you can handle her silence with grace, you can handle life's chaos with power. Now, if you feel the urge to reach out, pause, ask yourself, am I acting from strength or from fear? If it's fear, don't do it. Every move you make from fear reinforces her dominance in the emotional equation. You have to let her wonder. Let her miss you in peace. Because missing you is the first step toward respecting you again. And when she finally does reach out, your reaction determines everything. Don't reward inconsistency with excitement. Keep your tone low, your energy grounded, your responses minimal. You don't need to play games, you just need to hold the line. The more centered you are, the more disoriented she becomes. And that confusion creates attraction, not because you're manipulating her, but because you're showing strength in a world full of emotional instability. You must understand. Attraction is not built in pursuit. It's built in presence. When your presence radiates confidence, peace, and direction, her emotional system naturally aligns with you. That's why the men who win are the ones who master silence. They don't chase, they command attention by how they move. So next time she ignores you, don't react, don't crumble, and don't explain yourself. Just disappear gracefully, because nothing burns deeper into a woman's mind than the man who walked away without saying a word and never looked back. Every time a woman goes silent on you, it's not random, it's psychological. You're inside a subconscious game, one she might not even realize she's playing. See, women use silence as a way to measure impact. They want to see how deeply you're invested, how much emotional leverage they have, and whether you'll fight to keep their attention. It's not evil, it's instinct, but it's also the test that separates emotionally reactive boys from grounded, high-value men. Let's break it down. When a woman ignores you, her brain enters what psychologists call the assessment phase. Her emotions pull away, but her curiosity spikes. She's not fully gone, she's observing. Watching your digital footprints, reading between the lines, sensing your energy shift. If you chase, she subconsciously confirms her dominance. But if you don't, her internal balance is disrupted. It's a primal reaction. She starts to feel tension, the same kind of tension that once made her attracted to you in the first place. That tension is the secret. It's the oxygen that keeps attraction alive. When she doesn't know where she stands with you, her emotions start to reawaken. But here's where most men destroy it. They can't handle the silence. They interpret her distance as rejection instead of a test. They start over-explaining, over-texting, over-giving, trying to buy back emotional safety. But every message screams, "I need you to validate me." And nothing kills desire faster than neediness. Women are emotional creatures, but they crave emotional leadership. A man who can stay centered in uncertainty communicates power without saying a word. Because that silence, that controlled distance, whispers something primal. I'm not desperate for your presence. You can leave, but I'll remain unshaken. That energy drives a woman crazy. It makes her overthink, question, and eventually re-engage to relieve her own curiosity. That's how the polarity reverses. Think of it like gravity. The more grounded you are, the more she's pulled toward you. The more you orbit her emotionally, the more she floats away. That's the entire game of masculine and feminine energy. Her silence is like wind, chaotic, unpredictable. Your job isn't to chase the wind, but to be the mountain, unmoved, still, present. The stronger your stillness, the more her emotional storm settles around you. There's also another layer most men miss, emotional contrast. When she ignores you, she's subconsciously creating contrast between presence and absence. If you immediately fill that absence with attention, she never gets to feel your absence. She never experiences emotional withdrawal and therefore never rediscovers appreciation. But if you stay silent, she eventually feels the emotional withdrawal her own actions created. That pain becomes memory, and memory reignites attachment. You're not punishing her. You're letting her emotions do the work for you. Women bond through feeling, not logic. You can't talk her into wanting you back, but she can feel her way back to you if you stay calm and consistent. That's why indifference is so powerful. It triggers her to start the emotional chase again. And once she starts chasing, she reopens the same pathways of attraction that brought her to you initially. But there's a catch. Your silence must come from power, not pain. If you're sitting there bitter, scrolling her page, waiting for her message, you're not detached. You're just pretending. Real detachment means you've shifted your focus inward. You're improving yourself, upgrading your world, expanding your peace. When that happens, your energy changes naturally. You start radiating the kind of quiet confidence that women can feel, even through a phone screen. And that's when she reappears. It may start small, a hey, a heart reaction, a random excuse to reconnect. Don't rush in. Let her invest. Let her rebuild what she broke. When she senses that your world didn't collapse without her, she'll crave to be part of it again. That's the paradox. The less you need her, the more she wants to be needed by you. So remember this truth. The man who stays calm during her silence becomes the man she respects in her chaos. That's not manipulation. It's masculine emotional control. Because when you stop trying to win her back, you start winning yourself back. And that's the energy every woman secretly craves, but will never admit. A man whose peace can't be stolen, not even by love. When she finally comes back, and she will, that moment is your real test. Because how you handle her return determines whether she respects you again or simply repeats the same cycle. Most men crumble right there. They confuse her reappearance with reconciliation, thinking, she texted me, she must miss me. But in truth, her return isn't always about missing you. Sometimes it's about checking if she still has emotional power over you. So when she reaches out, don't celebrate. Stay calm. Read her energy before reacting. If she says something light like, hey stranger, or how have you been, understand, she's not trying to reignite romance yet. She's testing your emotional temperature. She wants to see if you'll drop everything and flood her with attention again. That's why your first response should never be eager. It should be controlled, neutral, warm, but brief. Like a man whose world didn't stop spinning when she left. You don't need to be cold or distant. That's just insecurity hiding under fake confidence. Be grounded. Respond like you would to someone who matters, but doesn't define you. because the power isn't in ignoring her back, it's in making her feel that her silence didn't shake your core. That alone will trigger something inside her: respect. Women can sense emotional strength the way men sense beauty. It's invisible, but undeniable. Now, let's get real about what happens next. When she sees you calm, detached, and unfazed, her ego will get confused. She'll start sending mixed signals, one day open, the next distant, again. Don't get frustrated. This is her subconscious recalibrating to your new energy. For so long, she held the control. Now, she's realizing that she's not the emotional center anymore. You are. That shift unsettles her, and the only way she can regain balance is by chasing the man who doesn't need her. So when she starts showing interest, replying faster, complimenting you, suggesting to meet up, don't rush in emotionally. Move slowly. You're not trying to punish her, you're showing emotional discipline. Let her invest first. Let her reach out, initiate plans, rebuild trust through consistency. That's the price of re-entry. Not revenge, but requalification. She has to earn her way back into your presence, just like you had to earn her respect again. And when you do see her again, whether in person or through conversation, your tone matters more than your words. Keep your energy calm, collected, and light. Don't bring up the silence, don't accuse her, don't demand explanations. The less emotional you are about what happened, the more emotional she becomes, because your indifference says, "You lost your chance to affect me." That triggers something deeper than guilt. It triggers attraction mixed with respect. Women are drawn to men who lead with calm energy. When you make peace your default, you become unpredictable. And that unpredictability creates tension. Tension fuels desire. So when she's speaking, listen more than you talk. Let her fill the silence. When she mentions missing you or thinking about things, don't jump to confess your feelings. Let her feel the emotional gap between your energy and hers. That space creates gravity. It pulls her in. But here's where most men fail. They see her renewed interest as a green light to open up emotionally again. Don't. Stay measured. Let your actions speak louder than your words. Keep doing what you were doing while she was gone. The gym, your work, your purpose. Let her see that your self-improvement wasn't a show. It's your lifestyle. Because the moment she realizes your growth wasn't about her, she'll start chasing to be part of it. Remember, women don't fall for words. They fall for the feeling your presence gives them. And nothing feels safer or more attractive than a man whose peace can't be disturbed. You've already shown her that silence doesn't control you. Now, you're showing her that attention doesn't control you either. That's what makes you unforgettable. So when she comes back, don't treat it like the finish line. Treat it like a restart where you hold the frame. No begging, no proving, no overcompensating. Just being. Because when a man can sit in his own power, women instinctively move toward him, not out of convenience, but out of admiration. Now let's talk about what truly separates men who win her back from men who win themselves back, because after the silence, the distance, and the emotional chaos comes the most dangerous stage: comfort. Once she returns, your mind will whisper that everything's fine again. You'll want to relax, fall back into old patterns, and open the emotional floodgates. But that's exactly how you lose her respect all over again. See, attraction doesn't survive on comfort. It survives on polarity. It needs that subtle tension between certainty and mystery, between connection and independence. When she comes back, she's subconsciously searching for one thing: to see if you'll slip back into the same man she once controlled. If you do, the cycle resets. If you don't, the dynamic transforms forever. The truth is, women don't just want love. They want leadership. Emotional, spiritual, psychological leadership. A man who doesn't need to dominate, but naturally commands respect by how he carries himself. That's the energy she's drawn to. Not the man who begs for attention, but the one whose purpose is bigger than her approval. And when she senses that purpose, she feels safe surrendering to it. That's what makes her chase your respect more than your affection. So how do you stay in that space? You build your center. You wake up every morning and prioritize your mission over your emotions. You work out not to impress her, but to master yourself. You set boundaries not to control others, but to honor your peace. You stop over-explaining, over-giving, and overthinking, because real masculinity doesn't need to prove anything. It simply is. When she sees that version of you, calm, grounded, focused, something shifts inside her. Her attraction turns into admiration. Her interest turns into respect. She might not even understand why she suddenly wants to please you again, why your silence feels heavier, why your presence feels magnetic. It's because you've become rare, and rarity creates value. Most men live as emotional reactors, moved by attention, controlled by fear, and desperate for validation. But the few who rise above that, they become anchors. The kind of men women can't forget even when they walk away. Because your strength doesn't come from indifference, it comes from discipline. You've mastered the art of emotional detachment not to avoid love, but to protect your soul from being ruled by it. When you reach that level, you stop worrying about whether she likes you, texts you, or ignores you, because your worth no longer depends on anyone's presence or absence. You become peace, and peace is power. Women feel it, men respect it, and life starts bending toward it. You're no longer reacting to her silence, you're directing your own story. And here's the paradox. When you stop needing her, she'll need you. When you stop chasing her attention, she'll crave your energy. When you stop proving your value, she'll feel it. Because what truly pulls a woman back isn't words, looks, or money, it's energy. The energy of a man who has himself under control. So from this moment forward, stop trying to get her back. Instead, get you back. Reclaim the man you were before you lost yourself trying to be enough. Rebuild your habits, your body, your focus. Become so centered that her silence no longer shakes you, her return no longer excites you, and her love no longer defines you. Because when you reach that level of calm dominance, women don't leave you, they orbit you. And if she doesn't come back, you still win. Because you'll walk away as a man reborn, sharper, stronger, more in control than ever. The man who no longer chases love, but attracts respect. And that's the kind of man no woman forgets. So let me leave you with one question. When a woman ignores you, are you reacting to her absence or responding to your purpose? Answer in the comments below. Your story might open another man's eyes tonight. And if this message hit deep, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a friend who needs to hear it right now. Because every man deserves to learn the power of peace and the strength of silence.